Hey guys, welcome back to the Ball Don't Lie podcast. I'm gonna be hosting today. I'm Tejas, and here with me I have David and Darian. So we're gonna be going over game ones and game twos so far in the playoffs. We've had some very good games, and me and the guys are gonna be giving our analysis for the series. So we're gonna start with what we as a group thought were the least interesting series so far, and we're gonna go up into the most interesting series so far. So first series we have first is the Wizards and the Sixers, highlighted by Russell Westbrook game two exit being thrown by having popcorn thrown at him. So we'll just let Darian go first on what he thinks about the series. David, you can go first. Doesn't matter.
All right. So I think this series is just gonna be the Sixers just destroying them. To be honest, I don't see them having any chance against the Sixers. It's just too lopsided. They don't have good defense, and the Sixers have great defense. And other than Beal and Westbrook, who's gonna score? And plus, didn't Westbrook leave with an injury, so he's not gonna even play next games or something? So yeah, I would
Okay.
probably this.
Yeah, the problem is with with the Wizards is they don't have enough scoring. You're absolutely right. Beal and Westbrook can get going, but who's going to be your third guy when you have Davis Bertans out there for 24 minutes and he contributes 0 points, 0 assists, 0 blocks, 0 steals, yet fouls out of the game in 24 minutes? Like, I don't know what sort of contribution that is. And they're going to get probably blown out. However, I think Westbrook is going to be motivated enough to drop a 40-point triple-double on the Sixers game 3 on Saturday because he's pissed, especially after that altercation with the fan.
Isn't
I
he
think
injured, though?
Huh?
Isn't
He'll be fine. Russell Westbrook, trust me, Russell Westbrook will be fine. He will drop easily a 40-point triple-double on their heads, but they will still get absolutely massacred. Like, they have no answer for Ben Simmons. They have no answer for Joel Embiid. So, yeah, this is going to be a massacre towards the end. But I feel like Westbrook will be motivated enough to win at least one game.
Yeah, I see what you mean.
Okay, Darian is lagging right now, so we'll just skip over. And let's move on to the Celtics Nets series, which what we thought was the next entertaining. This hasn't been much of a series except for game one. Game one was probably the best game and probably the Celtics' best chance to win a game on the road. They played an excellent first half. Like, I don't think I've seen better execution from the Celtics in a while. And they executed in the first half. Marcus Smart was going crazy. Robert Williams had 9 blocks. I don't think I'd ever say that of Robert Williams having 9 blocks. It's kind of crazy. But the Celtics just don't have enough firepower. Like you saw in game 2, they got blown the doors off because Joe Harris was not being guarded. Evan Fournier can't guard a cone. And Kemba Walker's just can't. Kemba and Tatum just can't do anything. The Nets are running this switch type of defense, which just absolutely blows up everything. But there is some sort of hope at the end of the day because Jeff Green is going to be out for the rest of the series, I think, with the plantar fasciitis, I think. And he was the primary defender on Tatum when he got switched. So I don't know. But
I think the same injury that Dragic had last year in the finals.
Yeah, I think it's the same injury, but we'll see.
It's the ligament on the bottom foot.
Yeah, as long as the Celtics can win one game, I will be content enough. I just want to see Tatum go crazy these last few games because this is his opportunity to show the world he's a true superstar with literally nobody else on his team. So just play with no fear. But we'll see. The Nets should win this series without a doubt. David, your thoughts?
Well, yeah, I have the Nets winning, and I think it was 5 games. I think maybe Celtics can steal 1 game. Tatum has a good night. So far, Tatum hasn't played that well. He's been inefficient in both games. In the first game, he had a couple important shots to make it a close game, but he was very inconsistent throughout the night. So if Tatum can have one of those explosive games that he has where he can just pop off like 40, 50. I can see the Celtics taking at least one game, but I don't think it'll go more than that. I think the Nets will just win after that.
Yeah, I mean, they're fine. They look like, I'm not even kidding. Like, I heard from multiple fans that James Harden is the reason the Nets are winning. No, he's not. James Harden just secures the reason that they're going to possibly win the finals. It's because Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving and the supporting cast, Joe Harris, Landry Shamet, Nicholas Claxton, they're all locked in. And this Net squad is going to be a force. I don't know if they'll win their second round matchup, though, but we will get later to that. In fact, the team they may face in the second round. Oh, Darian is here. Darian, would you like to give your opinions about the Wizards and Sixers and the Celtics and Nets?
I think he's still lagging.
Okay. Well, I don't think he had too much of an opinion for these first two series. So I guess we'll move on to the next series. Bucks Heat. Game one was a thriller. Saw Chris Middleton hit a game winning shot eventually with 0.5 to go. Jimmy Butler tied the game, forced overtime, but in game two, Bryn Forbes came out hot and the Bucks put up 46 in the first quarter and never looked back. To be honest, in my opinion, I think this series is a sweep. I know that sounds crazy to say, but stupidly locked in Jimmy Butler just doesn't look locked in. And the rest of the team does not look locked in. And the way, if you see the look on Giannis's face, he's motivated and he wants to win this series badly. And I think they will. They will sweep Miami. I don't think Miami stands a chance anymore. They just don't look ready. They don't. But unless Jimmy Butler picks it up tonight, this series is going to be a sweep in my eyes.
This series is it's a tough one to judge because I think the Bucks are obviously going to win, but I'm talking about how many games. Because if we looked in that first game, the Heat played well. If Jimmy Butler hit his shots, they're winning that game. Close game all the way to the end. They forced it to overtime, but they lost with that Middleton game winner. So if they can have another one of those games and Butler just hits his shots,
yeah,
they can win in one game. So I think the series is going to go to 5. I still see the Heat winning one game at home, at least, because they still have these next 2 games at home. And from there, I don't think it'll go to 6, but it's a possibility. But I think it'll go 5.
What surprises me is, we hate on Paul George for having bad games.
Not Butler.
But not Jimmy Butler. Jimmy Butler.
And the thing is, PG's been playing good this
PG's been playing all right, but they just haven't won games.
He's averaging 26, 9, and 6 on 50% from the field.
You're absolutely right. We'll get to the Clippers later, but let me get Jimmy Butler's stats here for just a second.
It's horrific.
I want to pull this up. Okay, yeah. Jimmy Butler has 13.5 points per game in these 2 games, 25% from the 25% from the field,
It's
22% from the 3, 64% from the line, and he's a minus 42, which is the lowest on the team. That does not look locked into me. If this was Paul George, Twitter would be going crazy with him. But bro, we don't say anything about Jimmy Butler, though.
Twitter went crazy on Paul George because of one half of his life.
I know. I don't know, man. Paul George gets too much hate, and I know you and I are probably the only Paul George supporters out of our entire group. He just gets too much hate in my eyes, and I just think that hauls him. I don't know, but that's Bucks Heat so far. I don't know if Darian is okay. Darian, you ready?
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. Give your opinions on Bucks Heat. I don't think you really have opinion about the first 2 series anyway.
Well, I could just say quickly, yeah. So Sixers are spanking the Wizards. I said 5. I think it's gonna be 4. Same thing with Boston, Brooklyn. I said 5, but I think it's gonna be 4. It sucks to see this because Brooklyn's gonna get even more overrated now, because they're beating an injured team. So for Bucks Heat, I picked this was gonna be a short series. I said Bucks in 5, I think, on the video. Because I knew that I have the Bucks making the finals this year. The Heat aren't going to get in their way. I thought the Heat were going to actually play good and still lose, but they're playing horribly. Jimmy Butler's playing hot trash, and
Me and David just had this convo like while you were gone about how Jimmy Butler is playing worse than Paul George, and literally nobody talks about it. Like,
well,
okay, 13 points a game,
well,
25% from the field, 22% from the line, a minus 42, which is the lowest on the team. I don't know.
There's no way Durant just said well, like he was about to debate that it's close.
Yeah.
Well, if I was to continue, the Clippers are down 2-0 to a team that they were heavily favored against, and Paul George is the second best player on that team. I'll say this: Paul George is playing. He's not playing good defense. He's playing better than Jimmy Butler. He's not playing good defense because he can't guard Luka, and he's supposed to be able to guard Luka.
Yeah.
He's been doing the best job out of anybody on the team.
Well, it's obviously not a good job.
He's whole like one. No, he specifically on Luka has been good. He's held him under 50% shooting, but
Darian. The problem is that when they switch, it's usually Luka's hunting. He is hunting Patrick Beverley.
Yes,
and Pat Bev stands zero chance of guarding Luka.
Pat Bev and Zubats.
Yeah, like they don't stand a chance, man. Like he just keeps.
Nobody on the Clippers stands a chance.
The Clippers just keep switching. The Clippers just keep switching. They don't try to hedge. They don't try to double. And even if they do double, he's finding the right guys. Luka's probably one of the better passers in our league. He's just hunting Beverly and Zubac.
Kawhi's playing really bad defense too. I'm going to be completely honest.
Yeah, Kawhi's not.
When Kawhi's defended Luka hasn't scored once in the series, and he's defended him for like 16 possessions.
Because Luka just switches off of him.
Exactly.
Yeah.
He's just off. Kawhi can't do anything.
Since we're on
the Clippers just play bad defense, and I've been saying it. They don't play. They don't play. They can play good defense on one guy. Sure, they can't guard their 3-point shooters. That's why they. Yeah. That's why they scored so many open threes. That's why I said. And the Mavericks aren't a good 3-point shooting team. So
Doncic just finds the right guys.
That's why the
Yeah.
If what's it called? If Tim Hardaway just doesn't like decide to make every single shot possible, then we could actually play good defense on Luka. But he makes every shot possible. So
yeah, it's going to be tough for the Clippers to come back from this. But Kawhi Leonard and Paul George are still two of the best wings in this game. So I'm not counting them out yet. So on the topic that we just went over, Clips Mavs, I think the Clippers will somehow come back game 3. They'll be ready. They'll be ready to put Luka Doncic on clamps. They just gotta hedge, man. You cannot let Luka Doncic switch on to Patrick Beverley. You just cannot do that. You have to make sure Kawhi is on him or Paul George. It doesn't matter.
Because Luka's such a good defender that if you don't, passer, that if you
he's a good passer. That's
try to hedge it or if you try to double it, he'll just find whoever's
open. He will destroy you. That's the problem. So they gotta, to be honest, you know what I would do? I would sort of run a zone scheme. I know that's probably one of the worst ideas to come out with, but if you want to stop the penetration by Luka, you probably got to run zone. I guess that's probably your next best option other than hedging. But Clippers Mavs is going to be an interesting series, but we'll see. Let's move on to the next series since we just went over Clips Mavs. Nuggets Blazers, highlighted by Dame going crazy game 1 and game 2. Although he could not win game 2, Nikola Jokic went crazy. I feel like this is going to be 2018 all over again. If y'all don't remember that series, Game 7, it was CJ McCollum who took over in the clutch. And this is without Jamal Murray too. But I feel like the Blazers have it in the tank to win. They stole home court. And if they can somehow find a way to stop Jokic. The problem is what you should do is you should let Jokic score, let him dominate, but just don't let him pass. If he doesn't pass to the rest of the team, the others will be bad. And if Jokic just scores, like he's really not that effective. That's your best strategy if you're the Blazers. And you just gotta absolutely pour it on. Like Powell has to get going, McCollum has to get going, Dame has to get going, and Melo has to get going. If those 4 can get going, Blazers have a really good shot at this series. I said Blazers in 6 or 7. I think it'll still be that. But it's gonna still be a good series though. So what are your thoughts, guys?
I'll go first if you don't mind. I had the Nuggets in 7, and I stick by it. They did lose home court, I believe, but they'll get it back. I think it's gonna be 2-2, and then the Blaze. I don't know how it's gonna end up going to 7, but I think it will. And I think the Nuggets are gonna win because they have the better player. I don't trust Dame down the stretch in tight games. He makes nice shots, but the Blazers have like a really bad defensive team. Like I think they're like 27th, something like that. They're like some solid defenders individually, but as a team, they don't play good defense. Powell's been like kind of non-existent, as far as I know, because I haven't seen him on Instagram. So, yeah, I think the Nuggets. They played a really good game too, and I think they're gonna continue with that in game 3 as well. So yeah, the Nuggets are. I still have the Nuggets at 7.
Well, I agree with Dorian on the Nuggets in 7. I had that first as well, and I also stick with it, but for different reasons. He said that he doesn't trust Dame in the clutch, which doesn't make any sense. But
Dame's whacked on the stretch, bro. He's so overrated.
God, you're so.
Oh,
Look at the stats.
I'm gonna argue with that too. But go ahead,
Look
David.
at the stats. Look at the stats.
What do you mean? Look at the stats. He has the most. What's it called? He has the most fourth quarter points this season.
Yeah,
In the regular season, not in the playoffs.
In the playoffs, he has like the third most out of current players for game sealing or game winning shots.
He's gonna pull what he did in New Orleans when he got swept by Disney. That's what's gonna happen.
Anyways, what I'm trying to say is, I agree with you on the defense part and the Nuggets winning in 7, but not for the reason that Dame is whack in the clutch. I also agree with you. Powell's been pretty bad so far. He's in the first game he shot 3 of 11 from the field and he only had 10 points. Second game he was efficient, but he only had 15 points and he just didn't make his mark on the game like he normally does. But Dame's been going off. Dude's crazy. More than 10 assists and more than 30 points in both games. CJ's also been a bit iffy. Was it last night or the night before? Night before. He played good then. So hopefully he steps up tonight.
yeah. Tonight is gonna be a big game. Game 3 is. Y'all remember the famous Game 3 a few years ago, right? 4 overtimes. I feel like tonight is about to be another recap, but we'll see. Let's move on to the next series, and arguably probably one of the most, other than the Clippers Mavs series, probably one of the more surprising series so far. Grizzlies Jazz has been one of the most entertaining series to watch. With John Morant, Dylan Brooks is a killer. Dylan Brooks and John Morant going back and forth, and against Mitchell, who returned game 2, Mike Conley and Rudy Gobert. This is going to be. Most people said Jazz in 5, Jazz in 5, but honestly, I might go Jazz in 7. Like that's how good this Grizzlies team is. I think Dylan Brooks is a killer. Like he still had an efficient night. He still had 23, even though he's in foul trouble. 23 on 10 for 14 shooting. Like that's crazy. And the Jazz defense is sort of off whack in the playoffs because of Rudy Gobert. Rudy Gobert will still give you his rim protection, but if you get a switch on him, but I feel like the Grizzlies are one of these young teams that just doesn't go away. They just don't go away. They will always fight, and I feel like they're going to give it to the Jazz. It might be. I think I said Jazz in 5. I think it might be more Jazz in 6 or 7. I think the Grizzlies are a good team. But yeah, what are your thoughts, guys?
So anyways, yeah, so at first I said Jazz are going to win this series in like 5 games or so, but man, John Morant and Dylan Brooks, those two are that's such a good
They're killers, bro.
It's that back.
Yeah, they're a deadly duo.
Very. And the thing about them is that they can play defense too. Like John might be small, but he's quick. He has good hands, and Dylan. So like I don't know. It's a tough series to judge because the Grizzlies are so inexperienced yet they're so gritty.
Yeah. I read the stat the other day. They're like the second youngest team, I think, in the NBA, and they're in the playoffs. Crazy. Suhas has come back. So, Suhas, what's your opinion on the Grizzlies and Jazz?
Is this the first series we're talking about?
No, this is like the 5th. We already went through a bunch of series.
Okay, cool. So Grizzlies and Jazz. I mean, I had like the Jazz winning in like 4, but that was before I knew that Donovan Mitchell was going to be out for Game 1. I still have the Jazz winning this in 5, but the Grizzlies are actually making me consider moving this to 6 because they've been playing really well. Whenever I look at the Grizzlies, they kind of remind me of um the Heat when we didn't really have anyone. We were just Whiteside and Winslow and Josh Richardson. We were just competing. We didn't really have a star, but we would give teams games, competitive games, and the Grizzlies kind of remind me of that a lot. I like what they're building over there. They got players that um they don't really care like what the odds are. They're just gonna go out there compete. Dylan Brooks is a guy that I hate when he's playing against my team, but if he's their teammate, you're gonna love because he's gonna compete. And then John Morant, I always felt that he was a little bit overrated, but you know, he's actually proven me wrong this playoffs. And the reason I said that was because in the regular season he has a lot of moments where he's just driving to the rim, and then his teammates will be wide open. He'll have tunnel vision and just try to finish over 3 guys. And I think he's matured a lot in this series. So, but having said all of that, I think Donovan Mitchell coming back has really made the Jazz. But he makes the Jazz a better team because we all know how good he is. So I still have the Jazz pulling this out in 5 or 6. I don't see this going to 7.
Well, I have the Jazz winning in 6, but I don't think the Jazz are getting past the second round. Because the Mavs are gonna beat them. I think. So I wanted to ask you this because you weren't here for it. Actually, no. Are we still gonna talk about Clippers Mavs, or did we already go past that?
I mean, okay, Suas can give his opinion on the series,
Yeah.
because we already went through it.
Yeah,
But
to hear it.
Grizz Jazz has
Oh.
been a good series. But go ahead, Suas. What's your opinion on the Clippers Mavs? Because it's interesting.
It is interesting. Bro, the Clippers better not lose the series because they did all this shit to make sure that they got the Mavs in the first round, and it's kind of confusing to me how they could have got. I'm pretty sure they could have gone the Trailblazers, who they have swept in the regular season if they'd won the games that
Yeah.
they try to lose.
It's because they thought the Lakers could have gone the 6th seed, and obviously they're gonna avoid the Lakers. So, and then the Lakers got the 7, so they got the.
They just
got the
don't.
Mavs.
They just don't guard anyone, and
Yeah.
at the end of the games, like it's just baffling how easily they just let Pat Bev get switched onto Luca. Like Kawhi, they'll set a screen and Kawhi will just switch, or Paul George will just switch. They have to do because the Celtics actually do something called ice defense, where
Yeah.
they don't
nice
switch the
defense.
screen at all. Yeah, they don't switch
Mhm.
the screen. They got to do what the Celtics are doing because the Celtics, they're not going to win against the Nets, but their defensive scheme is much better than the Clippers against a team like the Mavericks because Luka's going to hunt his matchups, his mismatches all the time.
Yeah.
And Luke Kennard, I mean, David said he's not a good defender, but you're paying the guy $16 million to just sit on the bench, and it's not like you're playing defense without him. Like your defense is pretty terrible even without Luke Kennard. So, I don't know where Luke Kennard is. I don't know where Serge Ibaka is. Serge Ibaka damn near didn't even play the whole fourth quarter against the Mavs in Game 2. They had because the jump ball, it was Kawhi. When there was a jump ball, because they had Terrence Mann out there instead. So I don't know. The rotations are kind of sus, but
I just want David.
Wait.
David, before you go, I just want to say one thing. The
Ty Lue
problem
sucks.
with ice defense. Okay. The problem with ice defense is that if you run ice defense against a ball handler and a pick and pop guy like Porzingis, the pop is going to be wide open every single time, and you'll get absolutely murdered by it. So they could run ice when Willie Cauley-Stein's on the floor, but you can't run it with Kristaps Porzingis on the
I
floor.
mean, you got to pick your poison, bro. Because if
You got to
Luka's
pick your
killing you,
poison. That is true. But Porzingis
gotta
can
get
be
the ball out
lethal
of-
though from 3.
he can, but Luka's the reason they're losing the series.
They are facts. Go ahead, David.
Okay, so I just want to say one thing. Well, more than one thing, but regarding what Suez said. So for Luke Kennard, technically speaking, we're not paying him 16 mil yet. That starts next season. But I get what you're saying.
A technicality, bro.
But yeah, so for Luke Kennard, we can't keep him in the game when Luca's on the court. If Luca's off the court, then yeah, sure, put him in. But if Luca's there, he's just gonna hunt him down. Literally every single possession, he's going to Luke Kennard. So it's not possible for him to be on
But
the court.
you need the offense.
Well, clearly the defense is a problem right now. Not
You
the
guys are shooting like
offense.
25% from three. You average like 44%, and he's a high percentage 3-point shooter. And right now, you guys aren't making any shots. So you need the 3-point shooting.
No, I think their offense is fine. They scored like 73 in the first half.
Well,
Yeah,
their
there's
3-point
not-
percentage is like half. They're shooting half the percentage than they were in the regular season or some shit. from
Not
three-point
field goal.
line.
We're shooting better field goal. We're just worse.
Not field goal. I'm talking about 3-point percentage. You guys were the best 3-point shooting team, and now you're like 15th.
Yeah, they gotta fix. Luke Kennard might be the option, but they need to play Terrence Mann a little bit more instead of Patrick Beverly.
Terrence Mann brings intensity and he brings grit.
I would
That's why. He
rather
brings
see.
heart.
I would rather see David. I would rather see Terrence Mann on the floor instead of Patrick Beverly. Your final closing lineup should be a lineup of Terrence Mann, Paul George, Kawhi Leonard, Morris, and you know what? I'll throw Batum in there. I'd
I would say
rather
that
see.
too, because
I would say
or Mook
Batum
can play-
over. If you play, I'm sorry, Ibaka, or if you play Zubac, Luka's gonna hunt you. So
Ibaka can do better than Zubac because he's more mobile and he's quicker hands and quicker feet, so he can do better, but definitely not Zoo.
And Ibaka can stretch the floors on the
That
offensive.
too. But Batum and Mook, they can run the 5 spot as well. So and
that's
Mook-
because you need to run a lineup where you switch everything.
yeah,
you have
that's
capable
a lineup where
defenders.
we can, except for man on Porzingis. Other than that,
Yeah. Besides that, yeah. But other than that, that's the lineup you want to run.
The Clippers
So
are getting
Porzingis,
swept.
Porzingis is
Good one.
low-key pissing me off too, bro. He could have had a lot more points if he backed his man down instead of settling for fadeaway jumpers.
That's
Yeah.
not his game. It's not his
Yeah.
game.
Yeah.
For
Anyways,
7-3,
let's.
bro.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So Ips here for a second. Let's hear his thoughts on Wizards Sixers. Go ahead, Ip.
No, all right. I had a math point, but I guess we can start with a meaningless series. So it's gonna be a sweep. That's all I gotta say on the matter.
Okay.
And
All right.
Popcorn Dumper, that's my guy. I'd give him season tickets for life.
You're fucked.
I'm well aware.
I hope Westbrook drops a 40-point triple double on Saturday. I hope.
Okay, and a point I have on all teams down 2-0 in this call, the Heat and the Clippers fans. You guys have to win
And-
4 of your next 5 games. That's
And the
just not
Celtics.
I know,
Next-
but he
yeah.
knows already. He knows already.
Yeah,
I know already
my
too,
team is in
No,
trouble.
Heat lost. The Heat lost. I picked the Bucks in 5, and it's gonna
Wait,
be
are any of you guys down 0-2? Do you still have faith?
David.
I have some sort of faith that we
I
can
have-
lose
shut up.
one
yeah, I
game.
definitely do.
I have faith.
No, David said his worried level is a 4 out of 10.
Bro,
I'd be
Four-
much
I
more
said
worried
four-
than that.
4-6,
What?
4-6.
Dude, the series literally could not have started off in any worse of a way.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
true.
All right,
Like,
let's
I
move on.
I think if
Yeah.
anything, the Beats team should be the most worried because they lost 2 at home.
Yeah, that's what I was saying.
Yeah. Okay,
Any
let's
words
move on to no. Okay, let's just move on to the next one because this series has potential to go to 7. Lakers Suns. We saw
yeah.
Anthony Davis and LeBron James crumble game 1, only to bounce back in game 2.
I'll go
You know what?
first.
I'm gonna let Darian go
Wait,
first.
no, let me kick it off.
Okay, actually, we'll let Ip go and then I'll let Darian go.
All right. So here's gonna be the X. There's two X factors to this series,
Dennis Schroeder.
and one is Chris Paul's shoulder. So I've dealt with shoulder injuries. They're not fun, but I know that you can't be a pussy, and Chris Paul's being one. I don't know. I don't know how many points he scored in the second game, but it wasn't enough. I don't know how many assists he got, but it wasn't enough because they lost. So Chris Paul, that KT tape isn't doing much for you. Just get out of the game and let D-Book take over or be healthy. And I'd say the other X factor is AD not being a bitch. So
Is that all?
that's it.
All right, so
All right, I'm gonna finish my poop and go. All right, see you guys.
okay, that was great. I don't think Chris Paul is being a pussy or whatever, because I don't think anyone else would play with that shoulder, because he really wants to win, and I can tell he's actually genuinely hurt. I think that what? Yeah. I think till Sunday because we have a 3-day break between the games. I don't care if Chris Paul plays or not. Like, I genuinely couldn't care less. Actually, I would obviously prefer he didn't play, but I have the Lakers winning in 6 as of right now. I think the Suns are going to win on Sunday. I have a feeling early games they'll win, but LeBron and AD, I'm sure they're going to play good. Dennis Schroeder played really good. If you watch the game, and you can look at the stats, he played really good. Andre Drummond actually had a really good game too. And we didn't play Trez, we played Marc Gasol. That was a good move by Frank Vogel. KCP is gonna hit. Mark my words, he's hitting 4 or 5 threes tonight after LeBron basically kissed him. So yeah, I'm not really worried, but we could definitely be doing better. We need to demoralize the Suns. We need to make them like know that we're the better team. We haven't done that yet. The Suns should be very confident at this point, but I'm not really worried yet. We better win tonight, though. We can't lose home court. So
All right,
yeah,
I'm gonna go next. Let me just say one thing. The Suns need Chris Paul back very quickly, and I actually have a report from Chris Broussard who said that Chris Paul's shoulder is actually a stinger. And now, if you don't know about stingers only last for a few days, and they pretty much go away very quickly. So Chris Paul should be back to Chris Paul in about a few days. Maybe not tonight, but Sunday. I
Yeah.
think he should be.
I think they
Sunday, I
should
think he
rest
should
him.
be fine. Yes,
Rest
I don't know about rest, but
like till
Sunday.
Sunday. There's a lot of time. There's a lot of time till Sunday.
Actually, I wouldn't mind resting Chris Paul if I were the Suns. Campaign played a hell of a game 2. So I don't know. The Suns' game plan of letting Booker get doubled and rely on everybody else didn't really work game 2. They need Booker to go crazy game 3 tonight, and they need him to just take over and be the superstar that they hoped he would be. And with that being said, I still have the Suns in 7 because
What?
I still have the Suns in 7. They have home court advantage. They have Chris Paul, and I think A. Disney is going to be a bitch.
Yeah.
End of story. Go ahead, Suas.
Wait, can I say one thing? Technically
Yeah, go
speaking,
ahead.
the home court advantage is equaled out now since the Lakers won one.
It's
And they
not
have-
equal
Yeah,
out. We have home court advantage. It's
No,
not
you don't
equaled
have
out.
home court advantage. Now it's there's an equal amount of games at each.
No, there's only 5 games left, and we have 3 at home, bro.
Yeah, Lakers have home court.
We took one in Phoenix. That gives us home court advantage.
Yeah, he's right. Go ahead, David or Suas. Doesn't matter.
All right. So first of all, I would take everything that Chris Broussard says with a grain of salt because he doesn't really know shit. He's just a guy on TV. But if it is a stinger, then that's good news for the Suns. I think Cameron Payne has been filling in really well for Chris Paul, but shout out to Cameron Payne, Murray State product. But Chris Paul, I just think brings a different level of we all know what Chris Paul's about, and especially defensively. And as an on-court leader, if the Suns, let's say if some of the Suns players showing their youth, Chris Paul can slow things down. DeAndre Ayton needs to get his respect because he's been playing really, really well. Darian said some
It won't
questionable
last.
stuff.
It won't last. If he
Okay,
can
we'll see,
genuinely
we'll see.
play the whole series playing well, I'll call him a top 7 center in the NBA.
Okay, well, as of now, he's playing really, really well. So he's getting respect from me at least. AD playing. I told Darian this, bro. Frank Vogel putting Marc Gasol in the game is going to change the Lakers, and it did because Marc Gasol played well. And him and AD is a better fit than any other center that plays on the Lakers. So, AD actually didn't play like a you know what and got to the free throw line, which is good because he needs to get to the free throw line because when he puts his head down, there's very few people that can stop him. And yeah, he did that. LeBron hit the dagger. I still expect the Suns. I expect this to go 7 games. Especially if Chris Paul is healthy. So it's a coin flip. I want the Suns to win, but in a game 7, I'm not sure if they're going to be able to beat LeBron and AD. So I don't know. We'll see what happens. But I think the Suns have fought really hard, and I think they just need to keep up the intensity.
Bro, David can go, and then I have a question for all of you if David wants to say something right now.
I do think the series is going to go to 7, but I don't think the Suns will win it. I'm still saying that the Lakers are going to win this. You know, it's one of those series where the Suns don't have, like Sua said, have enough firepower to beat out LeBron and AD in a game 7. And I think they can push it with their like intensity and their grit to 7 games, but I don't think in that final game they can outbeat LeBron and AD. And I just think that Lakers could close this off shorter, but I just don't see it happening. Because I think
All right. Sorry.
Let's go. Who cares?
I think the only reason Suns won game 1 is because it was at home. If they didn't have the fans, there's no way they were going to win that game. And the Lakers don't have the same amount of fans, but at least the Suns won't have fans, which is a good part. I have a question for all of you. This is my assumption is the Clippers are going to lose in the first round. Let's think of it this way: the Mavs are in the second round now, okay? And if the Lakers lose in the first round, as Tejas is predicting, you guys are saying 7, which means anything can happen. Who's making the finals from the West if the Lakers and Clippers are both first round exits?
Give me
Mavericks.
Phoenix. Give me Phoenix.
Give me Luka Doncic.
Mavericks.
Okay, well, that's. I hope if the Mavericks can win the ring, I'll be happy. That would be that would be nice. But one LA team getting eliminated in the first round, and it won't be the Lakers. So
give me Phoenix or Utah.
That's funny.
Utah? No, Utah
Actually,
getting slapped.
Utah's a shot. I'm not gonna count out Utah either. I'm not gonna count out Donovan Mitchell.
Yeah,
But let's move on to probably the most entertaining series so far in the playoffs. Hawks Knicks. 2 great games at the Garden. Trae Young's game winner, game 1, and the Knicks' stunning second half comeback, aided by Derrick Rose, who went crazy down the stretch. I'll let Darian go first on this.
Okay, so I get to go first on the Knicks and the Hawks. I have the Knicks in 6. I think most people think it's going to go 7. I can see the Hawks winning, though. I feel like the Knicks are kind of like they lost at home in game 1. I think you needed to win game 1, but they won game 2. Trae Young's like a really, really sick player. Like, dude's cold as hell. He says things that what's the correct word? It like raises my hairs, you know what I mean? It gives me goosebumps. Okay, let's put it that way. It gives me goosebumps. Okay, I believe in Trae Young, but I think the Knicks are gonna win because I don't trust anyone else on the Hawks because they're so young. I know the Knicks are kind of young too, but they have some experienced players. And Derrick Rose has been playing really well. Julius Randle hasn't really been playing well. I think it's been Derrick Rose mostly. But they're gonna either team's gonna get smacked in the second round, which is unfortunate. But I think it's a good series because they're both like not great and they're not bad. They're very evenly matched teams, which is why I think it's gonna be a really good series. Could go 7 easily, but I still have the Knicks. Unless if they lose game 3, actually it's in Atlanta. I don't know. They can't go down 3-1. So yeah.
I have Knicks in 6 as well. I think the Knicks are just better suited. Trae Young is a menace to guard, though. I will say that. The Knicks had a solid game plan in the fourth quarter to try and take out Trae Young. It was really tough for them too, but they got it done in game 2 behind a crowd. It just reminds you how good these playoff crowds are. So we'll see what happens. But I think the Knicks will pull this out. This is going to be an entertaining series. It might even go to 7 games, and if it does go into 7 games, I'll still take the Knicks. But these 2 games have been the most entertaining I've watched in a while, and it's good to see Madison Square Garden popping like it usually does. Go ahead, David or Suhas.
You can go.
Okay, yeah. So I got the Hawks in 6. I mean, I think the Hawks should be pretty comfortable right now. I think the Hawks should not be worried whatsoever. They lost game 2 with their second best player having 0 points. John Collins is gonna have to step up. I think he will come around eventually. They just missed shots at the end. A lot of their others just missed shots. They shouldn't be too panicked about this. I think they'll be all right. I want to see Lou Will get some more minutes though. I mean, he only had 13 minutes, but I want to see him because I think he can be that 6th man. He was a 6th man of the year winner, so he can be that guy off the bench, like that spark plug for them. I know that's been Kevin Huerter and Gallinari, but if you add Lou Will to that bench, I really like that. And then Tony Snell's always a threat out there with his 3-point shot. I just love the Hawks team. I just love Trae Young. I love Capella. Bogdanovich can make shots, and DeAndre Hunter's a very good defender. He's been clamping up Randall, so give me Hawks.
I'm gonna agree with Suas on this one. I got the Hawks, but I'm gonna say going to 7 games. It's gonna be a very, very entertaining series. It's gonna go all the way. It's gonna be a close last game, but I think the Hawks are just gonna edge it. I think that Clint Capella, although he didn't have a great game last night, he had like 4 points or something. He had like I think 6, 7 blocks, something like that. If you just watch him play like defensively, you can see the impact he has, and that's why the Knicks in the first game got completely like, how do you say it? Up until the end, sorry, because the Knicks sort of came back a little, but Clint Capella was like, I don't know how you say it. Anyways, Clint
You
Capella
mean
was
Clint Chamberlain? Clint Chamberlain? Give my boy Clint Capella respect. Or Clint Chamberlain, I'm sorry.
anyways, he was just getting in their way all the time. He was just waiting for them at the rim, and they came back a little bit, but Trae Young hit that game winner. Derrick Rose has been great, and you love to see that. But yeah, Hawks in 7.
All right. Well, these playoffs have been really interesting. These first few games, we're gonna see what happens game 3 and 4. We'll probably have another recap out for game probably soon through
Well-
game 5.
Wait. Do y'all want to do trivia or not?
It's fine. I guess we can just end the recap. I guess because David has to go.
Okay.
So yeah, good episode. We'll see what happens game 3 and 4. It's gonna be really interesting. But thank you guys for listening. Make sure you guys subscribe to our socials and subscribe to the YouTube page. And we'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out.